Starseed is your one-stop shop for navigating Solana and the world of liquidity on Meteora. But cruising the metaversal highway gets lonely until now. Say hello to Starseed Assistant. Just open Assistant and start asking questions. New to DLMMs, we'll guide you through the basics with Meteora documentation. Ready to open your first position? We can suggest specific strategies to optimize your range. Need help setting up your dashboard? We'll suggest widgets to your trading style. Starseed Assistant built into your dashboard and with you every step of the way. Starseed is your one-stop shop for navigating Solana and the world of liquidity on Meteora. But cruising the metaversal highway gets lonely until now. Say hello to Starseed Assistant.
All right. Hello, hello. What an epic intro.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Yes, welcome to Starseed Academy. This is our first ever live session where we're going to go over the basics of Meteora, DLMMs, and how to use Starseed Command to facilitate all of that. Today, we are joined by me, Batman, the CEO, and then I have my COO here as my co-host. A little bit about me. I've been a full-time trader in the crypto and traditional market space for over 5 years now, and I got into liquidity providing about a year and a half ago on Meteora. I'm also a proud LP member in the LP Army member in the Meteora community. And I'm super excited to be here today to spread the gospel of Meteora and Starseed. But Razor, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Sure. I'm Von Razor. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Starseed. I work with Batman really on all things with our project here. I've been also trading for about 5 years, been in crypto intensely since 2021, and getting close to, for me, being an active DLMMer in the last year. So it's been really cool to see that as a way to really make my resources and my capital work for me. I'm an active member of Starseed, active member in the LP Army communities, as well as a big stan of the Believe ecosystem too. So
yes, we do love Believe over here. But that actually kind of takes us into the next slide, because yesterday we officially partnered with the Meteorite Collective, which, for anyone that doesn't know, it's an initiative that's really pushed by Meteora that provides grants, strategic marketing, and growth support to innovative projects like Starseed that are building in the Solana Meteora ecosystem. And that includes a lot of Believe projects right now that are really pushing this new innovative ICM type market. So yesterday we officially partnered with them and won their one of 3 projects actually that won their Hype Fund, which is specifically a utility-driven award for projects that are being innovative in the utility space. So that's really awesome. Really grateful to the Meteorite Collective and people like Vesper and Soju that have been absolutely instrumental in giving us great advice as we continue to build out Starseed. Anything you wanted to add there, Razor, or are we good to go to the next slide?
let's move on.
All right, perfect. So this is our agenda for today. So we're going to give you a quick little primer on a few things, one being Starseed, of course. We're going to give you an overview of our dashboard. Of course, you'll see a lot more of that when we do our live trading session. We're going to talk about our seed token and our utility, And of course, for a lot of people here that might be new to LPing, we're going to do a little deep dive on Meteora and DLMMs. Then we'll have a quick Q&A session where we'll field questions from Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Telegram, anywhere really, and answer anything that you may have. And then we'll move on to what might be the more exciting part of the show, the live trading session. Hopefully we hit a banger today. But of course, if not, then I guess we'll just go over theory.
Feel free to ask questions at any point during the live stream. We should be able to see your comments, your questions, and we'll of course have a Q&A session. But if you have a good question at any point, we'll be happy to address it then. And again, this is our first time running Starseed Academy, our boot camp, our educational experience. So if you have feedback for us, feel free to send it to us in our DMs, in our Discord, as we continue to refine Starseed Academy. This won't be the last time that we're doing streams like this. So we want to continue to improve and iterate on it. That's our entire ethos here at Starseed, continuous improvement. So definitely am open and receptive to your feedback.
Yes, well said, Razor. So let us get into it, starting with Starseed Command. So what is it? So Starseed Command is our trading suite. So this is our all-in-one dashboard that is super customizable. It's widget-based, which you will see in a bit. And essentially what we wanted to do is create a trading system that didn't really exist in the space. And that's one that you can build that's unique to your trading style. So if you are a scalper that just likes to trade new and hot tokens, you can set your dashboard up to do that. If you are a DLMM player on Meteora, which we're hyper focused on, our product is perfect for that. We also let you track the performance of all your plays. We have Hive DLMM position viewers, and P&L cards and all that. So we really give you the tools and the utilities to take your trading to the next level. We also have a lot of screeners that have been great and instrumental for a lot of folks early on to make great plays, regardless of really their skill level when it comes to DLMMing. We like to give people a guiding hand when opening positions, and you'll see that during the live trading demo. And really see just how powerful Starseed can be for both your kind of newbie user, but also your power user. We try to cater to all play styles and skill levels.
Big picture.
Yep.
Big picture, our mission as Starseed and Starseed Command is to be your one-stop shop trading platform. So bring everything, the best of what Solana has to offer to one place so that you can focus on just trading, using the tools you're already familiar with, and so that you can keep winning in less time juggling between a dozen different windows. So right now we're hyper focused on DLMMs. That's just because of our background, as we alluded to earlier. But we'll continue growing Starseed Command in the platform with more tools to adapt to your particular trading styles. So again, we're open to more feedback and ideas on where we should go next.
Yeah, and that actually leads me to our next slide here. So this is what the dashboard looks like. As you see, it's widget based. You can have multiple different widgets here. We have a few like the price chart, an LP positions tracker, our top pools widget, which is super popular with folks that want to find high performing pools. But essentially, this widget system lets us iterate very quickly. If there's a new hot service or a new hot feature that Jupiter drops, like their Jupiter Pro widget, which is kind of hidden here by our AI assistant, but you'll see that in the live trading. We can add that very quickly. This widget system lets us iterate very fast. So if there are projects out there that want to partner with us and they have something that's interesting, as long as they have an API or something of that nature, we can typically integrate that project into our system very seamlessly. So this type of build, I think, really lets us capture new metas and new hypes as they pop up. But essentially, like I said, this is what our dashboard looks like. Of course, we're going to go into greater depth as we do our live trading session. So we'll show you how to set it up, how to trade on it, um, and it'll be a wonderful time. So that leads me to the next slide, which is our seed token. So Starseed, we launched a token earlier this month. I believe it was July 2nd. Correct me if I'm wrong, Razor. And we've already added utility for the token. So right now, the biggest thing we added was a discount on trading fees on our platform. So whenever you claim your fees on our platform, you get charged a fee. But of course, if you're holding tokens, that fee drops substantially. And we only charge fees on profit. So if you didn't have a profitable position, we are not going to be charging you a fee on any of those fees you claim, just because that'll just put you more uh, into more of a net negative spot, which no one really likes.
We're here to help you win.
Exactly.
So we don't wanna hurt you more if we've stumbled into a bad play together.
Yes, yes. We don't want to destroy the port even more. But this is just the first of many various utilities that we're going to have for the seed token. As you see in the next month or two, we're actually going to be releasing a very big update, and being a seed token holder is going to be very advantageous. I'll just say that much. Um, and we're also going to be dropping a post tomorrow regarding the enhanced flywheel nature that we're trying to experiment with here at Starseed, which should help drive value to the token. So we're all about driving utility. We're to our platform and our token, um, and we're very excited to see what's going to come of that in the near future.
Oh, Batman! No one came here to hear us talk about seed. Come on,
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
talk
That's
about
true.
let's talk about making money with Meteora.
Yes, yes. So this is the bread and butter here. So this is probably my most favorite tool that I've ever used, besides Starseed, of course, in all my time here in crypto, and that is Meteora. And they are both a liquidity providing platform and a launchpad. So as far as the liquidity providing goes, they offer the DLMM service, which we'll go into more in the upcoming slides. And they also offer the DAM V1, which was just their dynamic automatic market maker. And this is the same as their dynamic pools, if you remember that. And that's typically your constant product AMM or auto market maker. And in those dynamic pools, you put up two sides of liquidity. But sometimes you're allowed to put up one. Like if you went into the USDC, USDT pool, you can either put up USDC or USDT. And you get yield in those pools from things like trading activity, and they also lend out their funds in order to boost that APY. And their new kind of popular offering now is the DAM V2, and that just came out recently. And this is also a constant product AMM, like the DAM V1. However, it's different because uh, it concentrates your liquidity a bit more. And it also has some awesome features in it, like an anti-sniper feature, and it also has a dynamic fee curve to it, which, if you're not familiar with that, so when you launch a token with a DAM V2, you can have two forms of fee curves on there. So you can have a logarithmic or you can have a linear fee curve. And essentially, the fees start off at 50%, which is absolutely juicy if you are able to provide liquidity that quickly. And then it slowly trails down to a very low percent over time. And that's been a fantastic option for new launches. Um, and you can quickly make gains on that if you know how to play it right. And the other features they have, which are also I wouldn't say they're like super popular, but a lot of people still play them. You've got their alpha vaults, or you got their stake to earn. You got the dynamic vaults. Um, you've also got the Meteor lock, which is pretty cool, which is something we do use, and that's just a way to lock up liquidity either permanently or on a vesting schedule. But the three main things are the DLMMs, and the DAM V1 and the DAM V2, with the most popular ones probably being the DLMM and the DAM V2. And then the other thing that Meteor does is they help with launching. They're a launch pad. They work on the DBC, which is the dynamic bonding curve, which is absolutely awesome. Like I said, with the DAM V2, you've got that dynamic fee that helps with earlier price action. You can set customizable price curves, and typically in a DBC launchpad, things will graduate to the DAM V1 or DAM V2. With Believe, actually, they are a DBC launchpad, so they built on the Meteor attack. A lot of things have been Jupiter Studio, with the very, very popular Uranus token. I'm sure many of you have seen that in the ecosystem trending. All of that built on Meteor attack. Meteor attack is awesome like that. And it's a very powerful tool, very popular. And it's one of our favorites. That's why we've kind of hyper focused our tech to providing a seamless and great service and an adjunct really to Meteor, so you can really capitalize on all its greatness. So we can go over to our next slide, which is what are DLMMs. So the DLMM, or the Dynamic Liquidity Market Maker, this is just your way to concentrate liquidity in a specific price range. So this is different from the DAM V1 and V2. Here you have your full power to concentrate liquidity in whatever price range you want. And this is absolutely great because it enhances trading efficiency by offering zero slippage through those bins. And the great part is you can earn fees for providing that liquidity. So you're essentially making your bags work for you in a very, very great way. So we can go over to the next slide here. And this is the DLMM window that you're going to be greeted with on Meteora. So we've broken it down, and we're going to go over each part over the next few slides. So the first part is the Sol USDC pair that you see there. So this is the token pair for that pool that we're going into and that we're going to demonstrate over the next few slides. And typically you see the reminder here. So these token pairs exist as that little A-B layout. And that's just going to make it easier as we go over the next few slides talking about things like bin steps and whatnot. So here, the Sol USDC, think of the Sol as token A and the USDC as token B. And then for 2, that's the 24-hour fee for TVL. And we'll go into greater detail here about that stat, but that's basically the ROI percent that pool is getting over 24 hours based on whatever TVL you put up there. 3 is just the general pool information for the pool, and various stats that pool has. And then 4 is going to be a very important section, and that's your liquidity providing info. So that's where you'll find out your range, the liquidity that you want to put into bins, and we're going to do a deep dive onto that coming up. So this is the pool information. So here you are met with 6 different stats on that left window. So here you have the total TVL in the pool. This is a very good number to keep track of, because sometimes if it's too high, then essentially if you're going in with a small amount relative to the total value locked, sometimes the fees might not be that great unless you really concentrate your liquidity into a very short time frame, price range. And then you just have the allocation of the various tokens in that pool. And then the most important stuff are the the 6 stats that you will see right here. So you got your bin step, which will be the distance between those price bins, and we'll go into this in like very great detail in a few slides, just because that's a very important thing to know. You've got your base fee, and this is the minimum fee that you will earn on every trade that goes through your swap. So things like Jupiter, they work on the Metis router. Are currently they actually upgraded to Metis 1.6, and that works by going into pools with high liquidity. So it'll route pool trades through those types of pools, and oftentimes a lot of those pools are DLMM pools. Thanks to the LP Army for providing a lot of liquidity for a lot of these launches. A lot of those trades will get routed through Meteora. And on every one of those swaps, in this example, you would earn 0.2% on each of those swaps, which really adds up. It can add up very fast. So that's amazing. And then the max fee, that's just the max fee that the pool can run up to. So it's always going to be 10%. And during times of high volatility, which is high volume essentially, um, in terms of like huge buys and whatnot, that dynamic fee, which you see down below, which is the fee of the current pool, can fluctuate between the base fee and the max fee. So during those times of high volatility, you're going to see that dynamic fee kind of go up. So the base fee always 0.2% in this example. But during those times, it could run up to 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, sometimes all the way up to 10, which is absolutely fantastic. You'll see that a lot of the time on a lot of low market cap tokens that people are DLMing that are doing like 10, 20, 30, 40% price swings with each candle. You'll probably see something like that where the dynamic fee runs up like crazy. And then you've got the protocol fee, which is just 5% of the dynamic fee, and that's just the fee that goes to Meteora. As you see, it's a very small amount here. You really won't even feel it on your end. And then the 24-hour fee. So this is like I said earlier, this is the fee the pool is generated in 24 hours. But here at Starseed, we don't really like this metric too much. Uh, because the average ROI percent that you've earned over 24 hours can be very much gained, so to speak. So like this percent here that we saw in the previous slide, the 0.48%, that can be very much dependent on volume that happened earlier in the day and not the current rate. So depending on how tight or wide your range is, your own 24-hour fee per TVL can either underperform it or overperform it by a huge margin. So that's one metric we don't really pay attention to. Granted, there are edge cases and outliers where it kind of does make sense. Sometimes with the Sol USDC pool, with just how stable it can be sometimes, the 24-hour fee percent here is sometimes okay. But for meme coins and whatnot, which could have had volume earlier in the day versus later in the day, that number is very much not that great. So that's one I probably would ignore.
I feel
And
like it's
that's
mostly only useful, like you said, for a major altcoin pairing like
yeah.
Sol USDC, or maybe some of the other micro cap tokens that you'll see that range in the hundreds of millions of dollars of market cap.
Mhm.
If you're trying to rebalance yourself frequently so that you're constantly in those DLMM ranges earning fees. I think those are probably like the main reasons you'd look at a 24-hour fee.
Yep, correct. Yeah, I would agree with that. So for our next slide, okay, yeah. So this is the liquidity providing windows. So the top part, you will see the liquidity that you have provided specifically, both in token A and token B. Your total liquidity will fluctuate based on the price of the token. So just keep that in mind. And then the fees earned are just the fees that you've claimed, not necessarily the fees that you've sold. So you could claim the fees for a token and that token nukes, but the fees earned will still stay the same. And then your current balance, that's just the amount of tokens that you put up, either an A or B or both. That will also fluctuate as the token goes up and down out of your range. So, for example, if you went all USDC sided here and the token dumped, you will see that you will have all sold, for example. And then as those swaps happen, you'll see in your unclaimed fees that will slowly trickle up. But that's a pretty simple window there. Where it gets really interesting, though, is where you get to pick your strategy. So here they give you three main strategies to pick from. So you've got your spot, your curve, and your bid ask. So with the spot, as you can see, it's a uniform distribution. Curve, it concentrates your liquidity at the current price. So whatever you open the pool at is always going to be considered the current price. And with the curve, that's where you concentrate it. So this is a position that will probably scale you out or in very quickly, just because it's using a lot of capital in the beginning around around the current price. And then the bid ask, of course, is an inverse curve. And this will scale you out at a linear rate and use more capital towards the end or away from your current price. So we can kind of break these down a bit more. So typically for your new user, we kind of recommend going either spot or bid ask, just because with those two, if the token does move against you, if you're just saying going soul sided, um, at least you're not going to have a very high cost basis for the token. So as far as cost basis goes, Curve will give you the highest cost basis for the token. Bid ask the lowest, and spot it's somewhere in between. But personally, I think if you're a new user, spot is probably the way to go, or bid ask, just until you can really refine your methodology. And then, if of course, if you're really going for a high risk appetite, curve is a really great way to maximize fees, maximize, which in turn maximizes things like the meteor points. If you are concerned about airdrop stuff, curve is what I like to do most of the time, just because I really like getting those high fees in a quick scalp. And we kind of labeled it here. So we got the B and A. And as you remember from the earlier side, we've got the A-B pairing for these tokens. So if I go back a few slides, just so you can see that again, the Sol USDC up top, we've got Sol as token A, and then USDC as token B. So here we have examples for double-sided liquidity. So we're putting up both Sol and USDC. And this is the distribution they would have for each of these strategies. Now, of course, you can combine strategies and do something even crazier with Meteora. A lot of times you see people doing some combination of curve and spot, or bid ask and some spot, just as a way to capture liquidity differently. And these all have their use cases, of course. And as you may recall, I said in the previous slide, the router that Jupiter is using is called the Metis router. And what it does is it prioritizes price action through these DLMMs based on liquidity. So as you can probably tell, if you're providing something like Curve, you're going to be providing a lot of liquidity around the current price, which means you probably will see more movement in something like a Curve, just because it's stacking liquidity so much. And of course, routers like Jupiter will want to provide better price action for their traders. So something like Curve, I think from what I've experienced and what I've tested, generally sees quicker price action, just because of that fact.
Let's zoom out for a minute. Like, what's like the big picture of why you would choose any of these strategies? You'd want to pick your strategy and divvy up your liquidity based on where you think you're going to make the most money and earn the most fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do that. The beautiful thing with Meteora and DLMMs that makes it different than pretty much every other liquidity providing platform is that you get to decide where you concentrate your liquidity. So if you think there's going to be a lot of volume around a very specific price point, maybe a token is reaching some kind of I don't know, point of mental interest, like, oh, it's about to hit 100 million market cap and it's going to range around there for a little bit. You might open a curve position at 100 million market cap because you want to concentrate your liquidity at that point where you think the highest amount of volume is going to be occurring. Or if you think that your position is the token is going to wildly vacillate and range, go between highs and lows, a bid ask strategy probably works a little bit better because then you're capturing all the hype at the top end and all the hype at the bottom end, and you're going to get more fees that way. Or if liquidity over, say you only got 15 minutes and you think this token's going to go into a range pretty consistently for 15 minutes, maybe you select spot because you want to be just capturing fees throughout your entire range for that entire period of time. So ultimately, like, the strategy you pick, it depends on the market conditions. It depends on how the token is behaving. There's different ways where a curve, like in an ideal world, like you're doing a curve strategy and you're maximizing your returns when the token is experiencing its top volume. But there's more risk with that, and that's why we have the other strategies. If you want to be a little more conservative, great. So you can try capturing when the price of a token dumps with a bid ask. But yeah, we'll tell you like more about how we like to play different tokens, Batman and I. And as we get into the live demonstration, maybe we'll be able to commentate why we're curving, why we're bid asking, etc.
Oh yeah, no, I think that would be great. Because I think theory is all fine, but when it comes to actual practice, a lot of theory can sometimes go out the window, right? But let's go ahead. So this is a very important thing to actually know. So this is us breaking down the bin steps. So these are the bins that you saw here on your strategies, and these are just little containers of liquidity that can hold an infinite amount of liquidity in them, essentially. So currently there are 69 bins per position. However, in an update that's going to be coming out soon, this is actually going to be increasing to 1,400 bins, which is going to allow for a lot more fidelity when it comes to opening positions. But for now, it's 69. In this example here specifically, we have a 20 bin step pool, which means that there is a 0.2% price increment, both going up and down on the token. There are multiple bin steps available in the recent update. They released so many, it's hard to list all of them. But here we have a few examples for various bin steps. So you've got 4 bins here, 20 bins, and 100 bins. The higher you go up in bin step, the greater the price differential between each bin. And of course, the lower you go, the smaller that price differential is, and you capture more price movement, more small price movement. So, which is great if you want to do something like Sol USDC, which has a very high liquidity and a high market cap. You will find that as both liquidity and market cap go up, you will have to go down on the bin size just to remain competitive with other swaps out there. Of course, like I said, there are always edge cases when it comes to providing liquidity. And sometimes if you are able to provide a lot more liquidity, you can still remain competitive at a very high fee price point. Just because, like I said, the things like the Jupiter router really prioritize liquidity. And if you can offer great liquidity in a specific price range, then I mean, you probably will have trades routed through you. But essentially, this is kind of the bin step breakdown here. when you're playing those low market cap tokens, you can kind of see if you go on the lower bin step side, uh, you are going to get scaled out very, very quickly, which is why you see on things that are like sub 100, or sorry, sub like $1 million market cap, you'll find that a lot of the pools that people are playing are typically in the higher bin step range, just because for, say, example, uh, 100 bins, right? That's a 1% increase on each bin. So effectively, you're covering about like I think around like a 70% increase or decrease in the price, uh, which is great for a sub 1 million market cap token where the like volatility could cause a 10 or 20, 30% candle. And if you went in there with a 20 bin step, I mean, you're going to get scaled out in a second, which is very dangerous if you're especially playing something very, very risky like a curve. Um, but that's essentially the bin step breakdown. It's very important to understand this because we see a lot of times that people will go into, say, a 100, 200, 300, 400 bin step pool, and they're always wondering like, why are trades not routing through my pool? Well, that's because in like a 400 bin step pool, for example, that's a 4% increase or decrease from every bin in price. And you essentially are just providing liquidity in very large blocks. And it's not as fine as, say, a 100 bin or a 200 bin step where you're capturing more price deviation. So if it's trading, say, between 1 and 2, right? If you go into a 400 bin step, I'm just making up numbers here. You're only providing liquidity for the price being at 1 or 2. If it's at 1.3, 1.4, you're not actually providing liquidity at that price point. And so a lot of people will often think like, wait, it's trading here. Why am I not getting liquidity? Well, that's because you're actually not providing liquidity at the right price point. So that's why you often have to juggle and find a good pool that is getting a lot of trades through it. And more often than not, those really high bin step pools likely won't see that much volume. So you're kind of just sitting there on your hands most of the time, waiting for something to go through. And that effectively can kind of give up gains if you're just sitting around. So it's kind of a delicate dance at times to try and find the best pool to go into, and we'll show you later on during the live demo session how Starseed can help with that with our top pool screener. But yeah, that's basically the bin steps and it being broken down. Um, Next up, we have our liquidity window. So this is where we will be adding a position to open up our position in this pool. So here you can either, like I said, go token sided, or USDC or Sol sided, um, and open up a position that way. Uh, Under here, you'll see these gray bars that are under the bins up top. And this just represents how much liquidity you have in each of those individual bins relative to everyone else in the pool. So that is actually a very important thing to also keep an eye on, because a lot of people will provide liquidity on those very high market cap tokens. And then they wonder, like, why am I only getting a dollar or $2? Well, that's because in the range you provided relative to everyone else, you actually only control maybe 0.2% of each bin, which might not actually be much, especially if there's like thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of liquidity. So you're only getting a small piece of the pie. Now, of course, what you can do, and we'll go into greater depth here, is you can play around with the min price and the max price, which is the minimum and maximum price range of whatever liquidity range you want to select, or the token price range. So if you make that smaller, then you're actually concentrating your liquidity in a smaller number of bins, which means you are going to control more of that specific price point, which in turn translates to more fees earned. But of course, if you go smaller range, then you will run the risk of getting scaled in or out quicker. But of course, like Razor said, we'll go into various methodologies to to essentially try and open up a pool at a good range, at a good price action point that can help minimize stuff like that. Um, and like we said, to the next point, 69 bins per position right now, but that's going to increase to 1,400, I think, next week. And that's really going to change how the game is played because, like we said earlier, actually, the 20 bin step, right? It scales you in and out very quickly because it's only 0.2 price differential between the bins. Well, now with the 1,400 bins, you're going to be able to actually have a bigger position, a bigger single position where the meta might change. The 20 bin step pools might be some of the most popular ones if you can go the full 1,400 bin steps. Um, so that's going to be very exciting to see how that stuff changes, and of course we at Starseed we're going to be on top of that stuff since we use this product daily. Um, and the next thing to move on, the next point is that you do need Sol to open these positions, and you have both a refundable and a non-refundable deposit. So the refundable deposit is around zero point 0.6 Sol. Sorry, 0.06 Sol. Zero point 0.6 Sol would be wild. No, 0.06 Sol refundable fee, and that's just the rent fee. That's a typical Solana rent fee that you have to open up an account. And once you close your account, you get that 0.06 Sol back. The non-refundable amount is a 0.07 Sol amount, and that's Sol that you would pay to open up a new bin position. And not everyone has to pay that. The only person that will ever pay that is the person that's opening up the pool in that specific price range. But once someone does that, you can enter and exit that pool and not have to pay a non-refundable fee. So say, for example, I opened up this position that's in this image here. I pay the 0.07 non-refundable fee for this specific price range. If someone else like Razor were to enter here, he wouldn't have to pay that. So that's a great system that they have. It's essentially just one person has to pay that creation fee. And I think this probably is a good point to also mention some risks with DLMMing, just because with any kind of trading, there's always some sort of risk. The biggest risk that people always talk about, and one that I personally don't think is that scary, is IL, or impermanent loss. You also see some people call it divergence loss, but essentially with impermanent loss, in really basic terms, it's just a price deviation between the two token pairs, in this case Sol and USDC. But of course, if you go with the USDC, it kind of lessens the impact of IL. So let's just say if it was Sol and something like Jupiter or Fortcoin, basically both tokens can go up and down while it's in the pool on top of the swaps, and that kind of introduces something called impermanent loss, where you just have a deviation between those two token pairs. And essentially, there's no way to avoid it. As soon as you go into a pool, you're going to start experiencing some level of IL. The beauty of DLMMing compared to those constant product AMMs that you typically see with the other products, is that the fees that you earn here, depending on the concentration of your liquidity, can actually quickly overcome the IL to the point where you might even have positive IL when you exit the position. Like I've been in situations where I've come out on top just thanks to IL, where I've gotten fees, I've pumped out of my range to the upside, and I've come out with more money than I have fees just because Sol value also ran up. So there are ways to mitigate the risk of IL. I think it's kind of overblown personally. Um, that being said, it really comes down to having a good trading strategy in place just to limit those kinds of risks. And we'll go into that philosophy a bit more as we do our live trading demo. I also think that typically you'll see the IL in the beginning stages of your position, um, like within the first, I don't know, couple minutes to hours, and then as soon slowly as those fees accumulate, you'll see that IL kind of decrease. Um, but yeah, it's not something that you should totally be scared of, especially when it comes to DLMMing. It can be overcome thanks to the fees.
It's kind of something we muse about with DLMMing because you earn your fees based on the swaps moving through your different bins. And if you put up a soul-sided position, well, if you want to earn any fees, you kind of have to let the price of the token dip a little bit so that you earn fees through the swaps going through your bins. Um, Obviously, we hope the price of the token goes back up so that you can exit and just have the fees. But the only way you make money is if the price of the token fluctuates.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of funny. Ever since I got into DLMMing, I'm actually kind of happy when a token nukes, as long as it's going through my range and then of course going back up. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Meteora, and covering their system. Sorry, I went ahead there. We want to give a quick shout out to the LP Army. This is just the community of liquidity providers on Meteora. Fantastic group, so much alpha in there. Great traders, great education. Definitely check out their Twitter, check out their Discord, join it. We actually have a channel in there too. So if you want to talk about Starseed, you can come to the Starseed channel. We're in there. Um, Fantastic group. And then, I mean, we've got to give a shout out to Heavy Metal Cook. He's one of the boot camp instructors. He's an LP Army lead and a mod on there. He's amazing when it comes to smoking briskets and lifting weights. This dude is an absolute legend. His boot camp has turned thousands upon thousands of users into strong LPing gods. So I would definitely check out his boot camp, and take his course, fill out his form, just so you can also join the LP Army. It's to your benefit, just because it's, like I said, a great group of people. And we bleed Meteor over here, so we want to grow the community together. So check out his boot camp as well. It'll go into great depth and cover things that we may not have, just because we wanted to give a more cursory look to Meteora. But yeah, so I guess we can move on to the discussions and questions that anyone may have. So if you have any questions, just post them in chat. Um, Ask them. We will answer them. Of course, as we go into the live trading, that's also kind of an open fireside type chat, so you can ask it at any point, and we will answer them. Any questions that you saw, Razor?
I haven't seen any questions come through in the chat yet, but it's
Yeah.
mighty impressive time. We have a mighty impressive army watching, it seems. So thanks
Yes,
so far
yes.
for tuning in.
So I guess no questions. That means we're doing a damn V2 job. Damn V2 good job.
I find myself
So
making jokes too easily, too often with
yeah,
Meteora damn V2. So
yes, it's very easy to do.
good tech.
Good tech indeed. So I guess we can maybe move on then to the live trading
I think that
and
makes sense.
field questions whenever they pop up. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be the live trading session of this Starseed Academy. So as you saw, we went over the basics of Meteora, DLMMing. Of course, this is going to be recorded, so you can just watch it. And as Razor said earlier, we're going to iterate on this stuff. So if you have feedback and whatnot, definitely let us know. This is something we want to keep doing for quite a while. We love this stuff. We love outreach. We love education. So definitely check out the recording if you're just tuning in now. I see our numbers are going up. We are going to put out an edited version and probably like turn it into clips and really build out what we want to be the educational arm at Starseed, called Starseed Academy. So yeah, we will now move on to our live trading if you are ready, Razor.
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Perfect. So this is our dashboard. Should we start from a clean slate and just kind of show people how to set it up?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm clearing my dashboard real quick. So first time you show up on Starseed Command, you'll be greeted with a wonderful blank dashboard, a blank canvas for you to decide your destiny, decide how you want to engage with Solana and DLMMs. We have a default layout here. So if you show up on the page, connect your wallet, you can set up a default layout real quick just to be able to get a glimpse of all the different widgets that we offer. But typically, when it comes to setting up your dashboard for DLMMing, there are a few widgets that you'll probably want to have on your screen. I think an obvious one that you'll want to have is our chart widget. And you can just quickly click on add widget, select what widget you want, and it'll pop up on the screen. You can then see the widget like this, and from the bottom right corner of the widget, click it and drag it to resize it. So if you just want one big chart on your screen, you can do that. Or you can set it up so that it's a smaller portion of your screen so you can add more widgets. Let's see, what are some other good widgets to have for DLMMing? I think an important one is definitely the LP positions widget. This is our widget that you use to monitor and manage any of your active DLMM positions. So as you can see right now, I've recently opened up a position on Sol USDC. I just opened it a few minutes ago because it seemed like, according to Starseed, we'll talk about that in a bit, but it was ranging here for a little bit, but now it's going down, but I'm actually happy with that. But with the DLMM LP positions widget, you can see your active positions, whether you're in range or out of range. I'm out of range right now, and some basic useful stats. If I was ready to close the position right now, I could just click the close position and our transactions will route through Meteora so you can close the position. Let's see, Batman, should we talk about some of the screening tools we have?
Yes, we can start with the top pools widget, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very useful widget. We screen for the top pools on Meteora. So essentially, what we do is we rank them by volume, current volume, in whatever time frame you select. Currently, he's on the 1 hour. But typically, if you're a scalper type person, you probably want to do the 5 minute, just so you see the latest and greatest pairs that have high fees in that specific time frame. So here, what we would do typically is, or what I would do if I were playing this, is I would go by the 5 minute and look at the top couple pools and kind of play them, and we kind of show you like which specific pool it is. So this top one, this John Boo, it is a 100 bin step 2% pool. But if you were to go to say Meteora right now, you might see quite a few pools for this, and you might be wondering like, well, gee, which one do I actually go into? I'm not sure which one is going to be a good one. And it can be very confusing, especially for a new person to assess. And you kind of have to then click each pool, then open the pool in its chart, and it's just confusing. It's just confusing because it takes a lot of time to do that type of volume analysis to see which pool is great. But here we just break it down and give it to you. Where the top one is going to be the one with the best fees, like I said, for that specific time frame. So that's kind of what we did here and built. And this was a very popular tool. It still is, where users can quickly find the latest and greatest.
Sir, yes, sir. Something I like too with the top pools widget is you have the different filter for your setting your time horizon here, but you can click on the gear wheel and you'll pop up some filter settings. So if there's a token that you don't want to see show up on on the tracker. Maybe you're just tired of looking at it after seeing it for so long because it's a very high volume token. You can filter tickers out. You can also filter for specific tickers. So while Batman was talking, I just took the contract for John Boo Boo and put it into the token address filter here so that I could see what are all the token pairs right now for this token. Just in case, like, yeah, maybe the 2% 100 bin step is the highest performing pool right now, but maybe I do want to find something that has a slightly higher bin step just so I can cover a wider range. And it looks like right now, the best performing pool for that is going to be the 125 bin step. So it's also a great way for you to quickly compare and contrast different pools and how they're performing at this time.
Yes, definitely. So another tool that we like to use for screening things that have a lot of volume is the Jupiter Pro Top Traded, which is Jupiter's Pro top traded website. I think a lot of people might be familiar with that one. It's like their alpha scan. It goes over things that are high in volume. It goes over various launch pads that have great tokens, like Jupiter Studios Uranus, which is running. Like you can find all that stuff there. So what essentially we've made that a widget here, so you don't have to go to another tab. Like you can just have it right here on Starseed command. So here we kind of see like Bonk is actually up top on the 5-minute time frame, which means that is having a lot of volume going through it right now, actually. And sometimes we like to play stuff here. And you can kind of take the contract from the Jupiter Pro top traded and then filter it out in the top pools, and see what are some good pools for that right now. Which ones are getting some good volume.
That would make sense. If you look at the price on the left, the
Yes.
price of Bonk is collapsing a bit. So people who bet on a bit of a big price dip with a 400 bin step are profiting right now with that.
Yes. So that's one of the outliers with the 400 bin on something like Bonk. Typically, you need to see some like super volatile, big price action like this, like a huge dip to see a substantial amount of volume go through something like a 400 bin stuff. Because if you remember from one of the slides earlier, that just means that there's a 4% difference between each price point that you're providing liquidity, which means that you actually cover quite a high range. But of course, if it's dumping like this, you probably will go into that range.
Yes, sir. There's utility. I have both of these widgets on my dashboard at all times. Top pools is great. I think like the major difference in use case for these pools that separates one from the other is that top pools is only looking for and scanning DLMM pools on Meteora, whereas the Jupiter Pro top traded, it's looking at just the volume of tokens, volume price of tokens. So if you're looking for new launches that you want to DLMM and capture the intense liquidity at price action that happens with a new token launch, often I'll be looking at the top traded widget to see, is there a new token that is experiencing a lot of 5-minute volume? In that case, like I'll be able to see, oh, wow, let's just pretend that Pengu was a new launch. I could click on the contract for Pengu, pull up the chart, and then start searching for pools through the top pools widget for me to open my position. So the two have different use cases, but a good trader will use them in tandem.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we make it easy to use it in tandem because everything's on one window.
Yeah.
So there's so if you're DLMing personally, I think there's no reason not to have both of those up, just because information like that is absolutely invaluable when it comes to finding good tokens to DLMM. And we're all about the scalpers meta here, so if having both is actually very useful for that on the 5-minute time frame.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And the other thing that we've implemented is the Jupiter swap, which is also a very good one. So uh, this one is great just because when you're claiming fees to our platform, you can just instantly sell it off in here. Uh, and we are, I don't want to say when we're doing it, just because uh, I think our timeline is a bit packed in terms of all the utility we want to ship out over the next month. But we are going to be introducing our own custom swap at some point. That will make things way faster and better. But for now, we do use the Jupiter swap here.
That's right. Let's see. We have room for one more widget on here.
Let's see. What is a good one? We could do the DLMM pools widget too if we wanted.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, and that's the DLMM pool opening widget that we use. That's pretty useful.
Yeah, you pop it up and you're able to see, put in a token address. It'll show up all the available pools for that token. So Pengu, very popular token, has a lot of interesting different token pairings. So if I wanted to look at the Pengu soul pairs, you get a nice compact table here that shows you all the different pools from 20 bin step, 0.2% fees, all the way up to, I see a 400 bin step, 1% fee pool here. So you can, this all similarly does a sort so that you see at least the highest TVL pools and highest volume fees, some of the more popular pools anyway that are active. The top pools widget's a little better for that purpose, but for in a glance, you're able to quickly see a lot of different options that you have for opening your pools.
Yep. So if you're just using DLMM pools widget and you want to see like which one is the best, of course, you can just take that address and go to the top pools widget, and there you'll have further refinement to see which pool you actually want to go into. That's getting volume.
Yep. So that's one way to set up a dashboard. Obviously, this is a lot of different widgets and pieces of information to have on a screen at one point. Admittedly, I have Starseed Command open on an external monitor on a second screen. I have Starseed Command open all day long. So like, I don't have any issues with keeping this much material, this many widgets on my screen. If you're trying to DLMM from a laptop or a smaller screen, you probably can't have 6 different widgets on your screen. So you might need a slightly more compact setup. In that case, what I tend to do is probably get rid of the DLMM pools widget, shrink my LP positions widget a little bit so that it shows up as just one of these blocks. I still like to have Jupiter Pro open, but I might end up like shrinking up the Jupiter swap and the top pools. So in this case, I've got 5 widgets. It's a little more compact on my screen. That's kind of the beauty of Starseed Command, is that you can resize your widgets to fit your window and how you want to actively trade. Maybe you don't want the top pools widget because you're using the DLMM opener widget and just doing all your token screening through Jupiter Pro. That's fine. Your dashboard, your rules.
Indeed, indeed. It's highly customizable.
Yeah. And then once you've finished setting up your dashboard, in the top right corner, you can click the Layouts button and save your dashboard. Give it a custom name. You'll be able to hit Save Layout, and then anytime you want, you can swap between your different layouts. That can be helpful too, because like if I have a layout for my desktop and I have a layout for my laptop. So depending on what I want to do, I can switch between my laptop layout or my desktop layout. And you can have different dashboards for different purposes. So right now, this is my DLMM setup. Sometimes I might not be DLMMing and I just need to take a look at my overall portfolio performance or my recent transactions, my token holdings, etc. This dashboard I got here is a little bit of a bigger layout so I can focus more on charts, see recent transactions, and how things are doing in the ecosystem.
Yeah, and as you can see, you can switch between these layouts lightning fast.
Yeah, it is truly pretty good, I'd say. So this whole time I got a little secret to say. While Batman's been presenting, I've been trying to scan the trenches looking for some good runners. And it doesn't seem like many of these new meme coins are taking off right now. Maybe there's a few new names here and we can keep looking at them, but that's why I have this Sol USDC position right now. So we'll keep looking for any hot new tokens that we might be able to play, but
Yeah.
ultimately we don't want to. You have to be very mindful with DLMMs. Is that especially if you're trying to play new tokens, like one that has the name shitcoin, you got to be pretty careful because, like with any kind of normal meme coin trading, prices pump and they dump. So you got to be careful because you don't want to get caught opening a position at the top of any curve only to get rug pulled. So all of the traditional, this is not financial advice. You need to do due diligence. This is a risky proposition. All those standard rules of the road apply.
Yep. No, definitely. We don't want to force trades over here. We definitely want good trading practices. Though, of course, if you do get a loss, we do have a pretty epic loss P&L card.
Oh, should I show that off?
I think we should.
This isn't, so I mean, it's a loss technically because of permanent loss, but not really because I'm soul-sided right now and I want to keep my soul because I'm a soul maxi. But so far I've earned in my Sol USDC position with about 5 soul, a beautiful 72 cents in fees.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to close my position. Close position. I get my P&L card. It's going to pop up here in a moment. Got to let it load. Come on, give me my P&L card. Sometimes it takes a minute because we have to load the data through Meteor's API. And I just closed the position, so it takes a second for all that data to get processed. But here it comes. Here's my P&L card. Oh, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. This makes the loss worth it to me.
Yep. And we have different styles of P&L card here. So your dashboard, your rules, your loss, your rules too, I guess, when it comes to the P&L card.
Actually, we've added new features to kind of hide what pool you've been into as well, if you want to showcase that.
Sure thing. So at the top of the page, you can see we've got your different, I guess first thing is to point out is that you don't have to use Starseed and close your position through Starseed to use our beautiful P&L cards. If you just pulled the transaction ID for the DLMM position that you closed and input it into this field here, click load, you can generate a P&L card on any position that you've ever opened or closed. So if you had a big winner back in January even and you wanted to, it was a huge winner and you want to frame it on your fridge, well, you can input that transaction ID here and generate your P&L card right now. But maybe like Batman said, you don't want to hide that you've been in this Sol USDC position for 30 minutes and you lost $1 on it. Well, you can click any of these toggles up here to hide your time, hide your deposits, hide your withdrawals, and even hide your fees. If you just want to show that beautiful P&L percentage and figure.
Yeah. And the reason that you would want to do something like this is because there's been an increasing market for copy trading in the DLMM space. And a lot of people think that this kind of lends into PvPing and increasing the PvP nature of providing liquidity. So while this might not 100% anonymize you, because if you're a on-chain analyst or you really understand how to read Soul Scan, you could still probably uh, find out how or what type of position this person went into, but we kind of make it a bit harder to do when you're sharing these P&L cards. So that's a great option. And then as far as other things on the site go, uh, probably a good point to show off the AI. Maybe we could see why you went wrong. I know there's a lot of information here. So I guess one of the strategies, or sorry, one of the questions you could ask is like, what are the three strategies?
Sure. Yeah. So another powerful feature we have here with Starseed is our Starseed AI assistant. Another powerful strategy that we have with, or another, sorry, let me say another useful tool that we have with Starseed is our Starseed assistant. So anywhere you're on the Starseed website, if you have your wallet connected, you can pull up the Starseed assistant to start asking questions. We're here right now for live Q&A, but if there are other types of questions you have about DLMMing, about Starseed, about Meteora, about Believe, you can ask those questions here. So I used a spot strategy earlier, and maybe I should have looked at some other options. So I might ask Starseed Assistant, what are the three strategies for DLMMing? I'll ask my question, and Starseed Assistant will think for a bit and provide you with some useful tips and tricks.
Yeah,
So
this is essentially Starseed Academy in your pocket whenever you want it, which is absolutely fantastic for um, those that just might have a hard time remembering, like, oh, what is a curve strategy or what is a spot? Or sometimes we've actually trained our AI. It's built on a RAG database and all that for those of you that are AI connoisseurs in the stream. So we've actually trained it on specific strategies on that we've seen in the ecosystem. So we could ask it something like, "What are some strategies you can use on a high volume token?" And we'll see a little response here that will kind of guide you into a specific strategy, and hopefully it'll pop up here. Um,
okay.
well, typically, it
Yeah.
should. It can be a bit finicky at times. We're still refining that process. Um,
So here I asked a question about how I should play a curve when I'm DLMMing, and Starseed Assistant also provides some useful tips and tricks for why you would want to do a curve. A lot of what we talked about in Starseed Academy already, such as the importance of curves allow you to concentrate liquidity, allows you to um, earn more fees when you've got the price action occurring around the tip of the curve, as well as some important considerations while you're managing that position. So it's extremely volatile. It's if you're an extremely volatile token pairing and the price action starts going too far one way, you could start easily encountering impermanent loss. So good insights from Starseed Assistant.
yes, and speaking of potential losses, that's probably a good thing you closed that soul pool.
Oh geez. Oh yes. Yep, should not. Good thing I did not play a curve on the Sol USDC pool. Because with the chart widget, I have my position mapped out here, or what was my position on the chart. It was only like a 0.2% range, because we're talking about Sol USDC, so like obviously there's a lot of liquidity in that pool. So I used a much tighter range, but now we are slipping into the depths of Solana hell, it seems.
But we're still Solana maxis. And we
Yes.
always believe in the rule of one soul equals one soul. Right?
Yep. I got all my soul.
Yes, by Loom, Starseed Assistant, the AI thing is active. Of course, we're still refining it. We just upgraded to, like I said, that RAG database for the AI. So if you see any issues, definitely let us know in chat. Sometimes, like I said, it can be still a bit finicky just because we've trained it on hundreds of data sets. So we're still refining that quite a bit, and we're continually teaching it. So if you have any issues, like I said, let us know. We can fix it very quickly. Um, uh, but on top of that, with Starseed Assistant, so what we really like to do is we want to give traders a guiding hand. Like we want to help you as much as we can. We have a trading dashboard here that is super unique to your trading style. So you don't have to learn something else. The only trading style that you need to know is your own. So you can build this the way you want. We have Starseed Assistant that really helps you with educational material, with strategies, that you could employ for these positions in terms of management. Uh, and the other thing we do is with our DLMM pools widget, actually, is we have a proprietary algorithm that will showcase ranges that you can enter into a token. If you want to showcase that off, maybe for a Sol USDC pool.
Sure thing. Let's see. Let's find us a potential play. So I'm just looking
Um,
here to see if one pops up near the top.
yeah.
I will try entering, let's see, specific soul.
Yeah, I think if we go to the, let's see, what is a good one?
There we go. There we go. Sol USDC, the 0.04%, 4-step pool. So here we've got the card for the Sol USDC top pools. You can see the amount of fees that it's earned in the last hour and the liquidity and the volume going through the pool. And then here you can see that Starseed has some recommended ranges for that position. So I think that for this, I'm going to select, you can easily copy the range or the top or bottom of the range that you want.
Yeah.
Go through click on the open position to pop up the wizard that helps you set up your position. You can choose if you want to go Sol-sided or USDC sided on your position. Enter in the amount of Sol that you want to put in your position. Click next. Decide if you want to do a spot curve or bid-ask range. And then you can set your price for what you want the max price to be on the position. So let's see, I set the max price. Looking at it here, starting to go back up. And this max price here will be when I am entirely out of my curve, out of my range. You can set your liquidity slippage tolerance. Since there's a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume going through Sol USDC at any point, I want to use a very small slippage tolerance so that I don't accidentally get arbitraged. But if you're in a new launched meme coin, you might want to use a slightly higher slippage tolerance, maybe 1.5. Sometimes I'll use 3 or 5%. Click next, create position, sign the transaction, and the position will open. It'll take a little bit for it to show up on the LP positions widget, but in the meantime, Batman, anything you wanted to say?
No, I mean, really, we're just trying to give everyone a guiding hand. So the ranges aren't exactly financial advice. And of course, with a high volume token that's super volatile, especially for these tokens that are perhaps more new. So like under $1 million market cap, or just even a couple $100,000 market cap. It's going to be kind of crazy, as in the range is just changing so much because, like I said, like at that level with that type of liquidity depth, the price can jump 10, 20, 30% with each candle. So the ranges we have can sometimes be lagging in that sense, even on the 5 minutes. So you've got to keep that in mind, and definitely chart it out first and see if it's at an appropriate zone that you like. But essentially, it's supposed to be a guiding hand, so you don't have to follow it specifically. So we'll give you that range, and then you can make it as tight, or you can even make it as open as maybe you want. You don't have to follow it to a T. Personally, from my testing and stuff that I've done, I followed it quite a bit, blindly so in some cases, which I don't recommend, of course. But it'll work out pretty well with that. So I was doing it for scientific reasons, just to make sure our product is good. Um, but that's typically how you can use it, just more so as a guiding hand. Like, hey, maybe the price action around this level is going to be pretty good. So you can potentially open up a position either to go soul sided or maybe even go token sided and scale out in that range. But that's typically how we use that. Uh, it looks like the Sol USDC pool there is doing kind of well.
It's working. If I had a lot of liquidity in the pool, I would be having some good dollars maybe. But yeah, we're starting to at least go a little bit up on into the range. So it's nice. It worked.
It worked. It's alive. The liquidity bins are alive. So let's see. We are up to over 400 viewers. Any questions from anyone here? Any questions at all, either about Starseed, DLMMing, the philosophies of DLMMing, methodologies used?
Is anyone tracking a hot new token that maybe we should DLMM?
Yeah. I guess this is a good point to talk about some strategies that we use when opening curves and stuff like that. So here, Razor's using the visible profile range. And essentially that red line that you see on his chart is called the point of control. And that's just the area of highest volume on that specific range that we're looking at. And that's typically, for me, that's where I like to open up a curve right around that, just because with a curve, your current price is where you concentrate the most liquidity. And if that current price is right at that red line, which is the point of control, the area of highest volume, then I mean that curve can be absolutely beautiful for generating fees. So that's kind of where what I would do is I open a curve there, and then I keep it fairly tight, just because I really like to concentrate liquidity a lot more than maybe others out there. And that typically generates a lot of fees. But of course, if you're not paying attention to it, and it runs against you, then like that can be pretty dangerous. So you gotta actively manage it a bit more than just set it and forget it. Unless you're doing something like Sol USDC, then maybe there potentially you could set it and forget it. But on a lot of those lower market cap tokens, that can be absolute death if you're not managing stuff well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you're talking about the zone of control in this center line right here that's red on my screen.
Correct. Yeah, that is the point of control, which is on the visible the volume profile visible range, I believe, is the one that you're using there. Yes, the
Yep.
visible range. So that is the one that I highly recommend. I love it. I use that a lot. I think volume is king, especially for all these tokens. More so than other TA aspects, especially for low market cap ones. But of course, I think there's also now some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy where a lot of people are believing TA works for those tokens and they employ TA, so they buy around those specific support and resistance zones that various TA studies can show, like fibs. So I do think those might work. But of course, I still prioritize volume here. So volume profile, my favorite one, and typically the only one I'm using for most of these tokens.
So Byloom asked in the chat, Byloom asked us in the chat to show us Uranus, the Uranus token.
Nice. Actually, let me show that here. So this Bylum, one of the commenters on YouTube, he was asking us to check this token here, which he said is Uranus.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a really popular one. Meow actually just bought in this morning. This could be a good multi-day candidate if you wanted to take on that risk. These guys, I believe they were also supported by Meteorite Collective at some point, got grant money, opened up a billboard, I think outside of SpaceX. So those guys are absolutely hilarious with what they're doing. And the price action shows. I mean, it's gone up 150% over the past couple days. So this is a pretty good token from what I can see in terms of a DLMMing standpoint. Let's see.
Let's see what we get on the top pools widget for this token. Some people earning some fees, a lot of liquidity and volume going through it. Let's see. So typically whenever I look at a token like this and I'm trying to decide how I want to open my position, the ranges that Starseed recommends depend on your time frame. So I might be looking between a 5-minute time frame, a 15-minute time frame, and like a 1-hour time frame to assess like what level of risk do I want to take on. Our proprietary algorithm sorts through the volume in those time periods in order to provide those suggested ranges. And it's based largely on the fees people are earning and the volume people are transacting. So I'm thinking here, like we've had Meow bought in, that probably caused a whole lot of positive price action. Now I'm thinking, what's going to happen next? And I'm a bit more conservative when it comes to my DLMM strategies. I'm trying to preserve my capital and make small gains over time versus doing really tight curves. So I might want to look for an option that gives me a little more versatility, a little more, or probably do something that's more of a bid ask or a spot strategy. So I've got the chart open for the token.
We're actually kind of higher than the point of control here. Actually, if you want to switch it over to the price versus market cap, that might be helpful there. So we're a little above the point of control for this specific time frame. So I think a lot of the suggestions that you might see on the 5-minute will actually be lower than what the current price is, which I think might be fine. Because really you want to capture for something like this, probably the price range that's under this point of control. Especially since we're trading kind of close to the all-time high on this thing.
Yeah. And if you put in the range here for the token, so it's about 18 cents. The bottom of the range is actually right at the point of control about.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. So you can actually double click that line that you put down if we wanted exacts. And then go to coordinates, you'll be able to easily just copy and paste that there. Just so you have an exact location for that. So that's where that is. And that was the bottom end of that USDC curve, or sorry, USDC range, right?
Correct.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then
top would have been right here. So the top of the range is definitely well below the current range, but often when you're opening your DLMM position and you're just doing soul-sided, the only thing that really matters is the bottom end of your range, which would be the minimum price. Yeah. So let's see, let's do something here with this then. So I'm going to copy the bottom of the range of my token from the top pools widget. I'm going to click on the open position. I'm going to enter in the SOL that I want to put into this position. So let's do 5 SOL. Ultimately, I think I'm a little more bullish on Uranus right now because of some of the hype with Meow. And there's going to be some more probable marketing and hype as it continues. So I'm okay with doing a spot here. And I'll enter in the minimum point of my range. So how this works when you're opening a position. Sometimes we get questions about what is minimum price deviation. This is just the percentage decrease from the current market price. So if I enter in this specific SOL price here for the position I'm about to open, it's actually just about a 4% dip to get to the bottom of that range. This is helpful if you just know that you're looking at a chart and think, I want to open a position, I want to have about a 20% range. You can just enter 20 into this field and then finish creating your position, and you'll open your position with a minus 20% range. So I've got Starseed's range in there, and I'm signing the transaction to open. And now I hope that Uranus tanks.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be beautiful, especially since that's a very decent range right there. And then of course, if you do stuff like the 5-minute time frame, sometimes, like Razor was saying, you're going to have different ranges for the various time frames. So for 5-minute, you might get something that's a bit closer to, I think, maybe the current price, which is around 19 cents for the USDC value.
Yep, and that would give you even more of the active price action.
Yep. But of course, something a bit more conservative right now, probably better, just because we're trading so close to old-time highs. Though I think there is still some kind of decent narrative for Uranus that will let it trade in this zone or go up.
Great. Well, we will watch the career of this position with great interest.
Yes, but of course. But yeah, no, the LP position widget here, like, very useful. So we're actually tracking everything in real time. And I don't know if we mentioned this yet or not, but our LP positions widget not only tracks the profit for the position, but it's also tracking your IL, which is absolutely fantastic. So you can see early on if you are really experiencing a significant amount of IL, and you can adjust for that. Oh, did this justice token just pop up?
It just started taking off a little bit ago. So it's at about 1 million market cap right now.
Yeah.
I spotted this in the Jupiter Pro top traded widget. So it just launched a little bit ago, and it doesn't have a pool yet. So I'm just watching and tracking it to see if this might be a good DLMM candidate.
Ooh. Well, actually, another thing we can show with the top pools is the ability to filter stuff out. That could be pretty useful. So if we click the little gear icon here, for anyone watching and wanting to play along, we can exclude tickers. So like if we hit reset on that real quick and just show off the widget. So you might not want to play pump at all, right? Or you might not want to see a Trump token, for example. And sometimes Trump is like usually always up there just because it gets decent volume daily. You can hit that little gear icon, and you can go to exclude tickers, and you can just type in something like Trump or something like pump. And if you hit apply, it will pretty much should take it away. And there you go. So it's completely gone. So if you don't want to play that or see that, just remove it and refresh, and it'll go away. Still no pools on this, right?
Correct. No pools yet. But
Surprising.
Seems to be doing okay. 200K volume in the 5 minutes on the token. Let's see. If you were to play, if there was a pool and you were to play a position, Batman, what would you
Yep.
be think? What would be going through your head right now?
So right now, I think I'd be really concentrating on that overall volume, which I think for the 5 minute, 230K, 260K, not too bad. I'd be worried if I went into a high bin step pool that I wouldn't be getting that much volume through it, and I potentially might not get scaled out, even if it is moving up like 1, 2, 300K with each candle. So I'd probably be looking at something like a 20 to 100 bin step pool for this, just so I can get scaled in and out very quickly. And that's what I like to do for these types of tokens, like 1 million or around where we're at right now. I still consider that kind of a low market cap, where I think I would pretty much select a 20 or 100 bin step. And of course, if I go with 100 bin step, I'll probably go with a tighter range compared to 20, where I'll do the full range on something like this. But that's kind of what's going through my head as far as the fees. Of course, Meteor released a lot of new fee structures. So like you can do a 20 bin step with a 5% fee. That's kind of my wheelhouse right now. That's what I'm liking to play a lot. I love when trades go through my range quickly, which you typically get on a 20 bin step. And then of course with 5% fees, that's absolutely glorious on each swap. So I'd probably do anywhere from a 20 to 100 bin step 5% pool, and open it up probably here, down to the point of control for my position. But of course, there's a lot of risk with a lot of these new bonk launches. You've probably heard all over your timeline or seen on your timeline that it's essentially experiencing a similar problem to what Pump Fund had, or even still has, is that a lot of things are bundled launches, right? A lot of insiders and whatnot have loaded up early, and then they absolutely just nuke it as it gets into this like higher market cap range. So really like the 1 to 2 million range can be kind of scary on some of these new launches when you are there, because it can just instantly start nuking out of nowhere. Um, so I would definitely, whatever you play on this type of token, I'd definitely keep an eye on it constantly. And then if you do get a lot of fees, you can just play with the fees, at near zero risk. But see, something like this, like it's giving up gains very quickly. Now, of course, if it bounces, yeah, that's fantastic, but still too scary for me
Yeah,
to
so
stay in
I'm
these.
watching it. I'm tracking the volume, and it's the overall 5 minute volume is continuing to kind of curve off.
Mhm.
It'll probably crop up a little bit because there is just some negative price action.
Yeah.
But something is like I'm thinking like, okay, is momentum and hype for this token declining right now? Is someone about to get scared and just dump their entire bag and send the token to below 1 million?
Yeah, and that's a risk you're probably gonna have to take if you're playing these. But as long as you manage it and stay there, hopefully you can minimize any loss if there are any. But stuff like that, you could probably play a quick scalp. But of course, if you want to do a quick scalp, you've got to do a lower bin, especially at this level of volume. Because I think, what did you say? It dipped below 200K for the 5 minute.
Yep.
Yeah, so something like that, you've got to go lower bins. Otherwise, you're just not going to get any movement. And at that point, yeah, then IO is actually going to hurt you, just because you're not getting any movement and in turn not generating fees to offset any IO. Um, Ooh, Launchcoin is kind of getting volume right now, which is good. For those that don't know, that's Believe's token. Very nice. These actually seem to be good levels for Launchcoin if you wanted a multi-day, but oh, look, your Uranus pumped out of range.
Yeah, it did. It did quickly.
Yeah, Very good. Oh, might be making a move to the all-time high soon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so in that case, seeing the positive price action, like you could do a tighter curve here and probably a lower bin step than the 101% that I selected.
Yeah. How do you size into a position? Like at what point do you think like, you know what, I'm actually going to go bigger into this? Because for me, I guess narrative and overall price action kind of determine that. So like if I'm seeing a 5 minute time, sorry, 5 minute volume of over 1 million or 2 million, which happens from time to time actually, I tend to go in bigger. Or if there's a strong narrative like Uranus or Launch Coin, I tend to go in much bigger than I would say that previous token we saw, um, which is a bit Naya. Yeah, that one. Like this one, I probably would have gone small, like no more than uh, a couple soul. Where something like Uranus or Launch Coin, actually right now I have a position of I think like 80 something soul in a launch coin DLMM. And with Uranus, I probably would have gone even bigger. Just because it seems like that's a strong narrative driven token, at least to me, and with decent volume and buy pressure. But that's typically what dictates my size is just overall volume in a token, especially the 5 minute time frame. If it's high enough, then I feel like that dictates size.
Part of it, I think, too, is whatever TVL, total value locked, is in the DLMM position right now, too. You have to think about if there's a lot of TVL in a position, you're going to have to enter with a bigger you're going to have to enter with size if you actually want to get more of the fees. So if it's something where I'm in someone who I only really got like a smaller portfolio, a few soul maybe, um, might not be as worth doing some of the higher market cap coins like, let's say, Launch Coin. If there's a whole lot of TVL right here and I only have one soul to play with, I might not earn a lot of fees because there's going to be already so much other TVL locked in the position. I just won't get as many fees. Maybe what you could do in that kind of situation is buckle up and buy the dip and then enter token sided if you have long-term conviction in a token that there's going to be positive price action. Buy the token, enter into token sided with a bid ask so that your tokens effectively just get scaled out as the price increases. That way you're benefiting from the positive price action and you're collecting fees along the way.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's the way to play it. And what I like to do with my fees, sometimes if it's a crazy volatile token like Naya, I will actually dump those fees with the Jupiter swap app that we have. But if it's more promising like Uranus, what I like to do is instead of selling it on Jupiter, I'll open up a new position that's purely token sided. So in this case, Uranus sided, and I'll do a very, very tight curve, um, which is anywhere between like 1 or 2 bins, sometimes 3 bins. And then it just scales me out instantly. And you get some fees on top of that and meteoric points, which is a huge win. So I like to do that. If you can work quick enough, then you could probably even do that with something like Naya and get scaled out fast that way. But for things that are less promising, I just straight dump the token. Otherwise, DLMMing it is probably a pretty cool way to capture some more fees if you wanted. But yeah, no, that's typically how I size and play things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's see. Let's show off some of the other functionality. I'm out of range on Uranus.
Yeah.
I've got some profits here. I want to claim that fat $3 in profits. So I'm going to use the clip it tool here. Clip It is a wonderful tool if you just want to close your position and convert all of your fees into either SOL or USDC. So I'm out of range right now. I've got some fees I want to cash in. So let's clip it, baby. I'm going to click Clip It, swap to SOL, and sign the transaction. And Starseed will execute all of those transactions involved in one go. So what I just did there is through Starseed, I effectively closed my DLMM position, retrieved all my liquidity, retrieved all my fees, and then I swapped all of my Uranus fees into SOL. And I was able to do that just by signing one transaction on Starseed, which can save you a lot of time, right? Like if you've got a position, you're just got out of range and you're feeling excited about it and you want to get out before the next dump, I can just clip it and handle all of that in one transaction so that I don't have to spend time juggling transactions as the price action potentially tanks.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really wonderful feature to have, especially when you have so many positions open. It makes managing everything way easier, even more so when you can just do it from one window.
All right. Well, we've been going for close to 2 hours. If you've got any final questions, ideas, tokens in the chat, let us know. Otherwise, we might wrap it up pretty soon. And then if you want to engage with us more and keep talking, keep asking questions, you can head over to the Starseed Discord, where we're active all the time. We can probably get a link put into the chat there, but you can also just find the link to our Discord by going to our website, starseed.dev, and then in the top right corner there are links to our Twitter and our Discord.
Yes, definitely check it out. Stop by, say hi, test out our platform, let us know what you think. We're all an open book here at Starseed. If you need help trading or anything like that, just pop by, say hello. We'll help you out. We've been doing this stuff for a while now. We're all power users here at Meteora. Like I said, we live and breathe Meteora, LPing, trading. So we would love to spread the gospel of both Starseed and Meteora everywhere. So definitely hit us up.
Looks like I definitely should have opened a position in Naya.
Yeah, that actually kind of took off there, didn't it?
Yeah, the volume's pretty stable.
Mm-hmm. Still no positions on it though, right?
Yeah,
no one's open.
Very interesting.
Yeah. People might be in the what's it called? Damn V2 for it.
Oh, true.
Instead, yeah. Or maybe not at all. Actually, I don't see any pools for it, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised no one's opened one. Because it seemed like it could be a decent play. Or maybe this is alpha just for the stream. Byloom, regarding that, I think I understand where you're coming from. And he said, I have an idea, like have a miniature of our dashboard where we can organize the widget. And when we click complete, we'll have our dashboard organized as for the small tablet. So basically, I think what you're asking is you could kind of like type in an idea where, I want a dashboard for DLMMing or trading meme coins. It kind of organizes it. We have discussed ideas like that, and they're just workshopping things right now. But yeah, anything that makes the interface easier to use or whatnot, like if you have ideas, let us know. We'll try and implement it. But yeah, no, anything else? Any other questions from anyone? Or anything else that you think we didn't touch upon, Razor?
I'm just thinking, let's see. No, I think we've covered most of the major points for Starseed.
Yeah.
We've got the dashboard, we've got our P&L cards, we've got our profiles. So if you want to see your positions and how you're doing over time, we've got that kind of functionality.
Hmm.
And we also have our documents too. So you click on the docs on the top, and you want more information about how each of the widgets on our website work. You can go to the Starseed Git book, go to using Starseed command, and you'll see descriptions and information about each of the widgets for the Starseed command platform.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can also just check that. But of course, you can also just chat with us. Most of us are perpetually online. But yeah, I think, oh wow, we've peaked at 450 viewers right now. That
That
is
is
impressive.
that is quite impressive. So
Yes.
thank you all so much for tuning in.
Yes, huge thanks again as well to the Meteora community, to Believe, to Meteorite Collective. They gave us a shout out on Twitter for this stream, actually. So huge thank you for that. But yeah, I guess this is where we will call it. I'm Batman, joined here again by Razor. This is going to be recorded and edited later, and we are going to post it so everyone can watch it again. We'll also clip it up, like I said, so it's easy to digest the various segments. We plan on doing a lot more of these in the near future, and make it maybe a regular thing where we do this sort of Starseed Academy, not just for Meteor and DLMMs, but maybe other things as well. Perhaps we can do little academy sessions on, say, using Jupyter, right, and really making use of that ecosystem, talking about perps and how to play them. The content out there that we can produce is endless. And this is just the start, and we're really grateful for everyone that joined today and everyone that's going to view in the future. And we're really just happy with the community here at Starseed. So we're going to continue building and shipping for the foreseeable future.
Well said, well said.
All right, perfect. So with that, we are going to end it. So see ya, everyone. Say hello on Discord, Twitter, everywhere. We'll chat with you there. All right, have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.